They say you were born with potential, and they were right. But potential means nothing until it's developed. You are not a tree. You are not fixed. You are not rooted. You can change. You can grow. You can evolve. And personal development, true personal development, is not about self-help cliches or 10-minute fixes. It's about rebirth. It's about reinventing who you are until the person in the mirror reflects the vision in your mind. Not once, but again and again and again for the rest of your life. Because the real question is not what can I get, it's who can I become. You see, most people chase outcomes, titles, money, applause, but the wise, they chase transformation. They know the secret. Your results will never exceed your development. Not for long. You can win the lottery and still live in scarcity. You can get handed a throne and still lose the kingdom, because if your character doesn't match your opportunity, you will sabotage both. So let me ask you, have you outgrown the version of yourself you were yesterday? Or have you settled into comfort, into routine, into patterns that feel like safety but are really silent prisons? Comfort is the enemy of progress. And the moment you stop growing is the moment you start dying. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I will prepare, and perhaps my time will come." He knew when preparation meets opportunity, destiny ignites. But preparation isn't an event, it's a lifestyle. Development is not just something you do when things are hard. It's something you do because you demand more from life. And more importantly, because you demand more from yourself. Your mindset is the foundation. What you believe about yourself becomes your reality. And most people are trapped in invisible prisons of limiting beliefs. I'm not smart enough. I wasn't born into the right family. It's too late for me. Lies, lies, lies. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he succeeded with the light bulb. Do you think he had time for those lies? Do you think he sat around waiting for motivation to strike like lightning? He struck the match himself, again and again, until the world lit up. That's personal development. Not reading a book and forgetting it, but living what you learn, becoming what you study, every day, without applause, without fanfare, without needing the world to clap, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it because you made a decision. I will not stay the same. And belief, real belief, is not some soft whisper. It's a war cry. It's waking up and saying, this is the year I take control. This is the month I change the course. This is the day I stop waiting for permission and become the person I was born to be. Clarity is power. If you don't know what you want, you'll settle for what's easy. You'll drift, you'll wander, you'll end up somewhere wondering how you got there. But if you develop the discipline of clarity, the habit of asking yourself the hard questions, what do I want? Who do I admire? What kind of life am I building? And does it reflect who I truly am? Then suddenly the fog begins to lift. The distractions fall away. And the road, while never simple, becomes visible. Walt Disney imagined an empire of imagination long before the world believed in him. He saw castles in dirt, dreams in rejection. And what made it real was not just creativity, it was clarity. He had a vision, and he held it so clearly that the world had no choice but to catch up. You can do the same. Your purpose is not found, it's built. Brick by brick, decision by decision. And that construction begins the moment you stop asking the world for answers and start asking yourself, you want purpose? Don't look for it. Create it. Find something bigger than your ego, bigger than the paycheck, bigger than looking successful. Find something that makes you feel alive when you're exhausted. Something that calls you out of bed like a fire in your chest. That's purpose. And it doesn't show up all at once. It reveals itself as you walk, as you commit, as you serve, as you grow. And to build purpose, you must develop discipline. The kind of discipline that doesn't rely on motivation. Motivation is cheap. It fades. It fizzles. Discipline is the bridge between your intention and your results. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Henry Ford didn't build an empire because it was convenient. He built it because he had a philosophy: think differently, work relentlessly. While others complained about what was hard, he engineered what was possible. He didn't just change cars, he changed history. What about you? You don't need 1 million followers to be powerful. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself enough to show up anyway. You want to know the fastest way to change your life? Change your standards. Raise the bar on what you accept from yourself. No more someday. No more maybe. Make personal development your identity. Not something you dabble in, but something you embody. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. So build better systems. Build better habits. And watch your identity transform. Because here's the truth. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to become. So ask yourself, are you chasing outcomes or becoming the kind of person who naturally creates them. See, success is not something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. It's not about chasing the fruit, it's about nurturing the roots. And that means building habits so strong they carry you through the days you feel empty. Because let's be honest, you're not always going to feel inspired, you won't always feel capable, but discipline, the daily grind of consistent effort, that is your safety net. If your future self could reach back in time and speak to you now, they wouldn't say, try harder. They would say, become more. Not more busy, more focused. Not more comfortable, more resilient. Resilience. Now that's a skill the world doesn't talk enough about. But those who master it, they become unbreakable. Every storm life throws your way is an invitation. Not to collapse, but to grow stronger roots, to build inner toughness, to remember that pain is temporary, but who you become because of it is permanent. Carnegie was poor, Oprah was abused, Lincoln lost more elections than he won, but none of them stayed in the pain. They rose through it. They let adversity refine them, not define them. And that's what personal development is, not avoiding the hard, but walking through it with your head high, saying, this is tough, but I am tougher. This storm is loud, but my purpose roars louder. You weren't built for comfort. You were built for greatness, and greatness demands transformation. Now let's talk about adaptability, because in today's world, speed matters. Not just physical speed, but mental agility. Can you pivot? Can you shift your perspective when life shifts the plan? The ones who thrive aren't always the strongest. They're the ones who adjust the fastest. Darwin said it best. It is not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. That's true in nature, and it's true in life. You've got to be willing to kill your old philosophies to birth new ones. You've got to outgrow yesterday's thinking, because the mindset that got you here won't get you there. There's a difference between stability and stagnation. And too many people confuse the two. They hold on to outdated habits, broken routines, and toxic environments because they fear change. But hear this, nothing grows in comfort. Everything you want is on the other side of your old self. And growth, it's messy, it's painful, it's inconvenient. But so is regret, and regret lasts a lifetime. Growth, on the other hand, is the price of freedom. Because when you grow, when you really grow, no one can take that away from you. The job may go, the relationship may end, the applause may stop, but the man or woman you became in the process, that's yours, forever. And what's the catalyst that fuels all this? What's the force that amplifies every area of personal growth? Gratitude, not just as a feeling, but as a practice, as a mindset. Gratitude turns chaos into order. It transforms frustration into focus. It's not passive, it's power. You want to change your life? Start by appreciating the life you already have, because what you appreciate appreciates. The more you notice the good, the more good you'll create. That's not just philosophy, it's psychology. Your brain filters your reality based on what you train it to see. And when you live from gratitude, even the grind becomes sacred, even the obstacles feel divine, because you understand this is molding me, this is building me, this is shaping me into something greater than I was yesterday. So don't just thank the wins, thank the lessons, thank the setbacks, thank the heartbreak that woke you up, thank the failure that humbled you, thank the moment you hit rock bottom, because that was the moment you found your foundation. And once that gratitude sets in, it gives you a new kind of energy. Not hype, not noise, but quiet, powerful conviction. The kind of conviction that leads to decisive action. Because let's get real, dreams without action are hallucinations. Wishing, wanting, hoping, and they mean nothing without doing it. You've got to move. You've got to build. You've got to sweat for what you want. The blueprint is worthless unless you pick up the hammer. So stop waiting. Stop analyzing yourself into paralysis. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is a lie. The time is now. This very moment is the dividing line between who you are and who you're about to become. And the only thing standing in the way is the old story you keep telling yourself. Burn it. Burn the excuses. Burn the small thinking. And burn the fear that says, what if I fail? And replace it with, what if I fly? Because that's the real question. Not what will happen if you try and fail, but what will happen if you never try at all? What happens if you never start? What happens if you keep silencing that inner voice, the one that whispers, you were made for more? Let me tell you what happens. You survive, but you don't live. You move, but you don't advance. You wake up each morning, but something inside of you stays asleep. And you weren't born to sleep through life. You were born to build. to create, to conquer. First yourself, then your world. See, this whole journey of personal development is not about changing who you are. It's about uncovering who you've always been beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, beneath the noise of other people's expectations. It's about remembering your power. You don't need more permission. You don't need another guru. What you need is a mirror, not to judge yourself, but to face yourself. Because deep down you already know. You know when you've been hiding. You know when you've been coasting. And you know when you've let time slip through your fingers like sand, telling yourself, tomorrow. But tomorrow is a thief. It steals from the bold. It steals from the willing. It steals from the man or woman who could have done something great, but hesitated. So don't let time rob you. Take it back. Reclaim your mornings. Reclaim your focus. Reclaim your authority over your own life. Because make no mistake, you are responsible. Not your parents, not your past, not the economy, you. And that's not a burden. That's freedom. That means the same hands that built your mess can build your masterpiece. That means no matter how far off track you've gone, you can turn it around. With awareness, with humility, with the relentless decision to rise. Learning, real learning, is at the core of that rise. Because if you're not learning, you're dying. And I don't mean memorizing facts. I mean expanding your mind. I mean feeding your spirit. I mean becoming the kind of person who studies life like it's a sacred book. Read books that stretch you. Have conversations that challenge you. Ask questions that make you uncomfortable. Because growth doesn't happen inside your comfort zone. It happens on the edge of your ignorance. Carnegie surrounded himself with men smarter than him. Disney studied storytelling and psychology. Even Socrates, one of the wisest men in history, said, I know that I know nothing. Humility is the gateway to wisdom, and wisdom is the foundation for greatness. But let me be clear, knowledge is potential power. It only becomes real power when you apply it, when you live it, when you embody it. Not once, but over and over until it becomes second nature. The goal is not just to know more. The goal is to become more. And becoming more takes resilience. Life will test you. It will break you open. It will throw storms you didn't ask for and pain you didn't deserve. But what you do in those moments, when the path disappears, when the people leave, when the dream looks like it's dying, that's when your development is forged in fire. That's when character is revealed. Anybody can smile when things are easy. Anybody can be confident when the road is straight. But it's in the detours, the delays, the disasters, where you find out who you really are. And if you've done the work, the inner work, you won't just survive those storms. You'll use them. You'll rise with more humility. You'll walk with deeper wisdom. You'll speak with greater conviction. Because your strength won't be manufactured, it will be earned. So don't curse the pain. Don't resent the delay. Say thank you. Thank you for sharpening me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for making me ready for the life I said I wanted. Because there's a cost to every dream. And personal development is the price tag. Not once, but every single day. And in that daily process, you'll realize something profound. You're not just chasing goals. You're becoming someone who doesn't need to chase, because your energy pulls the right people, the right places, the right opportunities into your orbit. You become magnetic, because authenticity is magnetic, because self-mastery is magnetic. And when you walk into a room with quiet certainty, not arrogance, but alignment, people feel it. They don't know why, but they know they're in the presence of someone who has earned themselves. So stop looking for shortcuts. There are none. The long way is the strong way. And every step you take, every lesson you learn, every layer of your old self you shed, is another piece of your future coming alive. You want success? Start with you. Want more abundance? Grow into someone who can handle it. Want influence? Earn it through integrity. Want impact? Live a life that speaks louder than your words. Because the world doesn't need more noise, it needs more leaders. And leadership begins with personal responsibility, with the decision to lead yourself. So lead yourself to the gym, lead yourself to the journal, lead yourself to the mirror, lead yourself into discomfort, lead yourself into excellence, not for validation, but because it's who you are becoming. Not someday, not when it's convenient, but now, because now is all you've got. And that's not meant to scare you, it's meant to liberate you. There is no someday, the version that doesn't beg for opportunity, but creates it. Look, this life isn't about collecting achievements. It's about knowing that when the lights go out and the applause fades, you are still standing strong. Because you didn't build your identity on what you have, you built it on who you are. And that kind of self? Through the relentless, courageous act of showing up, again and again, even when no one's watching. especially when no one's watching. You rise. It's not a destination. The confidence. You become unstoppable. Not because life stops challenging you, you change your relationships. That's the real prize. The question is, what will it say? So rise. You don't get a second life, not by changing the world first. That is personal development, and so make it count.